seen more Asian Americans being upset at the fact that Black Americans are threatening to boycott Asian businesses than I have seen Asian Americans speaking out against the murder of Cyrus, Carmack, Belton. A child who was murdered at the hands of an Asian man. And this has everything to do with race, especially when anti-Blackness is so deeply rooted in our community. I have said this a million times, and I'll say it as many times as I need to so you can get it through your thick skulls. The only reason why Asians exist in America in such a large population is because Black activists fought for our right to be here during the Civil Rights Movement. White people did not want us here. It's not enough for Asian people to just be not racist. You have to be anti-racist, and you have to be speaking out against these injustices. Or
I like the fact what you just said, and that's definitely true. Anton Daniel shaking his head like he doesn't know what you're talking about, but it wasn't directly tied to it because of the doors that was open with the civil rights movement and open doors for other people, non-whites, to come into the country and ride on the backs of what the blacks did in the civil rights movement, and that's what she's talking about, and it's all facts.
else they'll continue to happen. We absolutely owe the Black community solidarity, and the sooner that we realize that we're not much different from each other is the sooner that real change starts to happen.
Facts.
I don't really know where this solidarity came from, and I have never, ever, and I've been studying a lot of things, I've looked at a lot of things, I've researched a lot of things. I was not aware that Black people during the civil rights movement were fighting for Asian people to be here inside of the United States of America. As a matter,
They was not fighting for Asians to be in here. They was fighting for us to be here. But because we fought and opened doors, other people was able to walk through the doors that we opened.
of fact, I'm a huge advocate for abolishing birthright citizenship that was for the descendants of slaves, because I think that too many people in the Asian community, in the European community, in the Hispanic community, in the Mexican community, in the Venezuelan community, in every single community that comes here illegally, I believe that they are taking advantage of a loophole in order to be able to justify them getting citizenship here in the United States of America. But that's neither here nor there. Number one, I'm just wondering, at what point will these panda bears and these people that are basically looking for acceptance from the Black community actually acknowledge that this wasn't a kid, this was a teenager that was carrying a pistol with a laser on it, pointing it on regularly on social media. And more importantly, the reason why he didn't want to show what was inside of his hoodie, because they genuinely thought that he had stole something. He was in the store with no money, in there for over 20 minutes, taking stuff, putting it back, taking stuff, putting it back. And when he was finally confronted, because the actual family had called the police over 200 times over a period of time, they've been threatened. People have been threatening to go to the car. They've been shot at before, the whole 9 yards. The reason why he didn't want to show what was in his hoodie is because he knew it was a gun. So he was stuck between a rock and a hard place because he had put himself in a position. And that doesn't mean that it couldn't have been handled more effectively. But more important,
It definitely could have been handily more effective, and I expect from Anton Daniels to take these type of takes that he take. I know Anton Daniels well. I've been watching his content for a minute. That's why I ended up reacting to his video. But it definitely could have been handled different. He just looking at this like this is another Black person as another kid. The way you need to view this through the lens of what if this was your son? And this was your son, would you still have this same take? And the answer will be no. You would not have this same take because you're separating it as just a stranger, somebody you don't know. But this was a family member, a brother, a cousin, an uncle, somebody you was closely related to. You will have a completely different take on the situation. And that's how I'm viewing it. If this was my brother, if this was my son, how would I have taken it? And you would have wanted it done more than just saying, oh, it could have been handily different. This right here was not supposed to happen. It should not have happened over simply a bottle of water. It's just not worth it.
importantly, I don't understand what the outrage is about when you mess around and find out. The real people, in my opinion, who should be held accountable for somebody passing away in this situation, because if you don't have a gun, you don't wind up putting yourself in this situation, right? If you're not posting it on social media, and I say all the time that people need to be aware and vigilant of what's happening with their children and where they at and what they doing, and you need to get a hold of them, because my parents always said, I'm gonna kick your butt so that the world don't have to. You gonna catch it from me so that you don't have to mess around and find out there. And so it's easy to be outraged because it's so funny. Nobody is talking about the mass shootings in Chicago over the weekend where 2 people died. One of them was a chef who was going to cut somebody's hair to make some extra money, right? There's no outrage when it comes to black on black crime, but there's always an opportunity for people to jump out the window and for it to be a race-based conversation before any kind of major election, and for that to be the foundation of why we then get outraged and start having conversations about who you're going to boycott and who you're not going to boycott. Why would somebody boycott Asian businesses? That's like saying that I'm going to boycott any kind of African black business. We're not all the same. Nigerians is different than Americans. Americans is different than Ethiopians. Ethiopians is different than Somalis. Somalis is different than South Africans. All of these people are different. We're not a monolith. We're different. We're 100% different. In the same way that Chinese are different than Japanese, and Japanese are different than Koreans, and Koreans is different than Vietnamese, and so on and so forth. And so it's so funny how I see liberal apologists on all.
I mean, you just have to set a presence that this is not cool. And the only way you can set a presence of this is not cool is by boycotting. We know everyone cares about their bottom line. They care about the money that's being made. So if you boycott and you hit their bottom line, the change is going to be made. I don't care how you view the situation. Nobody deserves of dying over a bottle of water. I don't care what he had on him. He was not at that moment trying to injure or put anybody's life in jeopardy. His life should not have been taken at all. I don't care how you view it, with your standpoint, it is. It is completely wrong what happened to this kid over a bottle of water. Point blank, period.
All sides. And I think that people should be able to do whatever they want to do. So if people want to boycott the businesses, have at it. Boycott the businesses. I have no problem whatsoever, right? Because it's your right to be able to do so.
Facts.
But I'm tired of people getting on the internet and pandering as though they don't know why this guy was found not guilty, in addition to, his lawyer being excellent, but they don't know why this guy was found not guilty. And now they're tearing up a store that he don't even own anymore.
I mean, because you have to ask your question. It was the other way around. Let's say the roles are reversed. Let's say this was a black guy that shot an Asian kid. Would he have been let off? And a lot of people feeling like this because they don't feel like he would have been let off. And a lot of people feel like this because it seems every time an unarmed black man gets shots, the person get found not guilty. And people are at this point just saying, when is enough enough?
Very, very wise, very smart.
And so what if black people are boycotting Asian businesses? If that's what it takes to wake our community up, more power to them. And I really need Asians to wake the fuck up. Because I'm tired of getting on this app every business week and having to talk about some fuck shit that some Asian person is doing to black people. There's so many other things I want to talk about on this app. Domestic violence prevention, mosquito brains, because that's what I got my PhD in. My writing process and how I write sci-fi novels and how I...
So what's stopping you from talking about mosquito brains? Because that's what you got your PhD in. Nobody is making you talk about this issue. Nobody is forcing this down your throat.
I mean, she's smart enough to know that if she talk about this, she's going to get traction. If she talk about mosquitoes or whatever else she just was saying that she could talk about, it's not going to get any traction. People know if they talk about the subject, especially if you Asian, especially if you black, because people want to hear the opinions of both, she know what's going to happen.
Nobody is... You're jumping on the bandwagon because you know it's a popular subject to talk about.
Yep.
And so that's what you're deciding to insert yourself into. Man, listen, I'm not falling for the okie doke from none of these people. Nobody is going to finesse me into thinking something that I don't already believe, bro. These people are pandering. Everybody is pandering. And either you in a black relationship or you pandering for likes and you're looking for acceptance and you don't think that you're going to get any pushback. But the fact of the matter is that people need to be authentic, and I'm tired of people pandering because even if you didn't like black people and you were authentic, at least we would know where you stand. At least people would know how to move around you. At least people would have the choice of whether or not they wanted to do business with you. But all of this fake outrage, I'm just not going for it, bro. It just don't, it's a Monday. Let's get it.
Yes, the small business that I run because I write the sci-fi novels. But instead, no, I always see some Asian doing some model minority stuff, and then I feel a moral imperative to talk about it because it ends up in the death of innocent people like Cyrus, Carmack, Belton. I am sick of watching our country slide into fascism and watch the Asian vote be split because so many of us want to ally ourselves with our oppressors. And in my personal...
Are Asian people oppressed in this country? Just a question. I genuinely.
If you genuinely know, you have an Asian lady telling you that the Asian people is oppressed. Who's gonna tell you better than the Asian person? Like, who's gonna be able to tell you better if a black people are being oppressed than a black person? You just heard it from the horse's mouth.
Want to know, are Asian people oppressed in this country?
We are.
I'm tired of not being able to trust Asian people that I meet because so
everyone
many of
is.
you would throw Asian people under the bus for white acceptance. And on top of that, a number of my friends are black people. And I don't want to have anybody in my life who is unsafe for my friends.
I knew it.
You knew that was coming. I don't know why every time it is a black topic from another race, they must put out there that they have a black friend. It's just almost like you can almost sit there and wait for it. And you know eventually that line is going to come that I have a black friend. I like black people. I went to school with black people. I used to share a room with a black person. You just hear that line over and over again. It seemed a little redundant at times.
Model minority Asians are unsafe for Asians to be around as well, and they are potentially lethal for black people. I don't want that in my community. Get that out. And if these Asian stores close, like the ones that opened up in black neighborhoods, and then complain about black people being there and do racist things to them and profile them, let the stores close. Y'all don't deserve to be there. Have some respect. I know Asian people love money, so black people withholding their dollars might actually get through some of your thick skulls.
Boycott Asian businesses.
Wow.
Look, I know many people are angry. They think justice needs to be served. So they want to boycott Asian businesses. I know emotions are high, and if this is how you think there's going to be some justice, okay, I'm okay with it. But then when does it end? When is it, okay, we've boycotted Asian businesses enough, justice is served, now let's move on. I just personally don't think this is the solution.
It's 2026. We still victims. We'll be victims for the rest of our lives, for the rest of our existence. It will never, ever end, ever.
It produces more tension, creating some unnecessary race war. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of Asian business owners that are like, what happened? Where's all my black customers? They're just trying to make a living. They're just trying to make money. Now, what's the answer? I don't know. If you have any productive recommendations, please comment below. But personally, I just don't think boycotting Asian businesses achieves anything.
You're not going to like my opinion.
I don't think that it achieves anything either. And I just think that black communities need to spend money with the people that are spending money with them. If you don't see Asians spending money inside of black businesses, you shouldn't be spending money with them. And a lot of people just bring that to their forefront that they don't see Asians inside of black spots getting food, getting anything. So one must ask themselves, if this community is not spending money with you, should you be spending money with this community?
My opinion as a mother to a Blasian child.
Blasian.
They go out. They got to qualify themselves to be able to even participate in this discussion.
Which is crazy.
I have black friends. I have a Blasian child, which basically means that I have a child from a black man. All of this stuff. They have to genuinely, I'm liberal, well, I'm gay, whatever. They have to qualify themselves to be able to justify the argument that they have to make, and it's based off of who they slept with now. I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page here.
Fuck yeah, I agree with that. I agree with black people wanting to boycott every single Asian business until our community can get our shit together. Because as a mother to a Blasian child, I do not want my child gunned down simply because he is black.
I don't know. I gotta sit there and say no one's thinking about your kid. You're not thinking about her kid because it's not your kid. It is her kid, and she have a right to worry about her kid. Because if she do have a half black kid, there's a certain conversations that you want to have with that kid. Because certain things is gonna happen throughout the lifetime of that child, especially with like dealing with cops and dealing with other races. Anton Daniels know this. I don't know why you overlook it so much. It don't depends how much money you have, Anton, as a black man. You're still a black man at the end of the day. and it is what it is. She should be worrying about her son the same way you worry about your daughter. Everybody's worried about their children, especially if you got a black child and you're not black. You already know the stuff that we go through on a daily basis. You ever seen it personally, or you seen it in a movie, you heard about it in a book. Everyone has seen this type of stuff that goes on with the black community.
The fuck out of here. And even if I didn't have a black child, that would still be my opinion. Because after 35 years, you think our community would have learned our lesson on what happened to Latasha Harlins. You think that we would have found a way to be in community with black people. But instead, our community, consistently puts profit over people to the point where a bottle of water that is not even worth $1, a bottle of water that Cyrus did not even take,
Crazy.
was the reason for his life being stolen from him. So yeah, fuck all those Asian businesses. Fuck all of them until our community can get their fucking shit together.
Wow.
This is so dumb. Let me know what y'all think inside of the comments.
I think it's a crazy situation. I don't think it's dumb. People have the right to talk about whatever they want to. If they want to see change, if they want to boycott, everyone has a right to do what they feel like is right to make change. And I like the fact that you have Asians speaking out and saying this. I never thought that I would see Asians saying this, but to me it's nice to see that Asians is saying this type of stuff, because it's mean that we're moving in the right direction. People need to see stuff like this and know that people do support the movement. Everyone doesn't think this right. Even the Asians doesn't think it right. Even some Asians telling us to boycott the business. Me personally, I treat everything on a base by base. I think because that guy did that, it wouldn't be right for us to punish all Asians or to boycott all Asians that had nothing to do with it. Same way if it was the roles were reversed and this black guy did this, we wouldn't want everyone to just boycott all black stores, because it's on a base by base situation. Before we get out of here, if you didn't like, subscribe, leave a comment, hit them hype points, make sure you do that. Until next video, TRETV, and I'm out.